What's up, guys? Welcome back to another week of the Rockets Hits and Heartbreaks. And took a little 2-week hiatus. Kind of were busy with the Pacific Classic and the Travers. Ton on the site, as you could probably tell and notice. And so just didn't quite have time to do it. Plus, I wanted to revamp the Rockets a little bit. Or not the Rockets themselves, but this little show that we do with the Rockets Hits and Heartbreaks. I felt like we were doing too many tickets and I was just kind of going through them and wasn't really explaining very well how exactly we got to them and what exactly we did to kind of either hit or miss. So I'm going to do something a little different starting this week moving forward. I'm just going to pick out one ticket. It might be a big cash or it might be one we just missed and really dive into those 5 races, how we structured the ticket, and why we did what we did. Obviously, we're going to go to Del Mar if you've been following along through this week, and we're going to start with one that we hit. The early pick 5 on the closing day at Del Mar, a $96 ticket. We did hit that, paying $5,376.50. So it was awesome way to end Del Mar, and the biggest hit of the whole year so far was right there in that one. So we have to start off with that one. I'll get to that in a second. Had a couple people ask before I start, who does the Rockets? How exactly do we formulate those, and et cetera? It's basically Jared and I do those together. So you get my opinions with the regular premium picks, and then you get my opinions mixed in with Jared's for the Rockets. And we did this and we changed it like that because the guide bankroll articles were really popular. And if you've been following those, you've done well. And we thought, well, it'd be cool to get our opinions combined as well for a product that we do more than just, once a month or once every couple of months. So that's why we did the Rocket. So you buy a Rocket, it's kind of like buying a guide. The two products are very different, but the opinions are kind of like if you bought a guide and followed that bankroll article. So kind of wanted to throw that out there. And that's why sometimes when I say we, that's who I'm referring to. It's Jared and I's opinions together. And what we do, he handicaps himself, I handicap by myself. And then we get together and then we combine and see who we like, dislike, what order do we like horses in, who do we think is a single in the sequence, blah, blah, blah. And we formulate a ticket like that. So I'm going to give you some live kind of like, here's how we formulated this pick 5 ticket that won at Del Mar on Sunday. And then, like I said, throughout the weeks, I'll just pick one ticket and we'll go through it, whether it's a big hit, a big miss, but kind of the most significant ticket, how I'll phrase it, of the week, I guess Thursday through Sunday, sort of the week. So, all right, let's get into this. Enough of me ranting or just going on here. So Del Mar, like I said, it was a big one on Sunday. I'll put up the ticket now for you guys, kind of show you what it was. So it was a $96 ticket. There it is right now. 4 deep by 2 by 3 by 4 by 2. And it many times we play a ticket like this. The first thing we do when we get to a sequence, so I'll say, okay, 1 through 5 in this case. Give me your horses that you like, 1 through 5. He's got a category of must. Hey, I have to use these horses, and then a category of it's just whatever. If we can, put them in there, go for it. If not, I'm not going to argue about it. I do the same thing. So yeah, the first thing you do, it's like, okay, is there a single? And in this sequence, we're like, I do not see one. That's always, makes you tough because you got to really narrow down each race. Where if you have a single, you can kind of go 4 or 5 deep in some of the other ones, and you've got the budget to get away with it. If you're new to the Rockets, or maybe you're new to watching this video, we always try to keep the pick 5 tickets under $100. That's kind of the barometer. At this point here, we went $96. When you don't have a single, it's really hard to not go any lower than about 100. I mean, you got to really kind of narrow it down. So handicapping's got to be really, really good, and the structure's got to be really, really good. And in this case, both of them were, thankfully, and we were able to get the job done. All right, I'm going to take this away here, and I'm going to put up the ticket in a banner so you can kind of see the ticket while we look at the results as well. So on the bottom of the screen there, you see the banner for the ticket, and then I will pull up the results, and we'll go through these. And I'll kind of go race by race here, kind of tell you what our thoughts were, who I liked on top, who he liked on top, and so forth. So we started off, here's leg 1, a maiden claiming race. You never know, but usually you find these pretty difficult at Del Mar. A lot of kind of strange horses, kind of wide open races. We went 4 deep to kick this thing off, 3, 7, 8, and 12. We both had the 12 in second in this spot. And, ran very, very well. We did not have the 4, as you can see. We did not have the 2. So if the 12 doesn't win this race, we're in big trouble as far as the second and third place finishers there. But we really did like the 12 quite a bit. Second choice for both of us. You look at it and go, well, we went 4 deep and we got to our second choice. It's not great, but you felt pretty good. It's a 1280 winner in a leg. You went 4 deep, so that's great. It wasn't the favorite. So we felt pretty good coming into that. Now, like I said, it kind of got tricky because we did not see a single in the sequence, which means you're going to have to narrow down a couple of races pretty well. This was the first big key. It was holding the loot. This was Jared's top pick. This was my third choice. And I had the 7 on top and he had the 7 in second. So it became pretty clear, look, we're pretty sketchy on some of these other races. I really think we can get away with just going 6-7 in this spot. Our picks aligned enough to where you really could feel pretty good about it. Out of the 2 that we narrowed down, this was one we felt pretty confident on that we could get through it. And we did. And we got the 6 home here. Once again, you look, second place finisher, didn't have it on the ticket. Third place finisher, didn't have it on a ticket. So we're 2 for 2. It's been close, right? So a little bit of a sweat for these first 2 races, but we're alive going into leg 3. This is a spot we went 3 deep. This was this was the race we debated the most, is how I should phrase it. The 9 was a Bob Baffert runner, 2-year-old maiden special weight, and you'd think, well, sure, you're going to play the 9. It was on the turf. You really don't see Bob Baffert win a lot of races on the turf, but we argued back and forth about this one for a while. Maybe we should just play against the 9, going to be over bet. End of the day, it was the right decision. If you did play against the 9, we ended up using the 9 in the spot, but we also used the 2 and the 10. We both really liked the 2 a lot. We had the 2 as our second horse. We felt pretty good about that horse coming in. Flavian Pratt jumping aboard. We really liked that, obviously, as well. And how could you not, coming back to Santa Anita? So we had that horse in, and we had that. We both had the 10 in up in the top 3 as well. So our top 3 were the same, just kind of flipped in order. Again, we deliberated this for a while. It's a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds on the turf at Del Mar. It's usually our wide open races. We just kind of decided, look, we don't have the luxury of playing 5 or 6 horses here. We don't have a single. We're going to narrow it down to these 3, and we're going to have to hope our handicapping is right in this spot. And again, thankfully it was. Malibu Coast did not get bet at all. 1740 on the win. I was surprised. The horse was 6-1 on the morning line, but I thought might get bet down because of Flavian Pratt, but did not. And so then we're in really good shape here. We're 3 for 3. And now you're a little bit nervous because even though you didn't have a single, you got through the first 3 legs and you're 4-2 to end it. So we were feeling pretty good. You go to the next one. This is where Jared, he really liked the 12. He had the horse in his second slot as well. So definitely had to throw that on the ticket. This is one we really didn't have to sweat. The 11 was the other horse. It kind of came down to those 2. It looked like it was going to be those 2 for a lot of the stretch. And so no sweat on this one. I certainly like the 11 a little bit, but again, it didn't really matter. They're both pretty similar priced. Really not a lot of sweat. So we're 4 for 4, but this was the leg where we both, when we put the ticket together, it's like, yeah, we would really, really love to use more horses in this last leg. We just don't have the budget for it. And, it was a situation where we could have tried to get aggressive and single maybe in that second leg and then go 3 or 4 deep in this leg. And that's the kind of decisions that they're either going to make or break you, honestly, in these situations. And we just kept going back saying, I just don't think the 6 is a single in this spot. Well, the 6 won the race. Hindsight's always 20/20, but before the race, we just could not get there. We could not give that ticket out. We could not play that ticket ourselves, knowing that we've got that single. We just did not feel confident. So the price you pay, instead of maybe being able to use 4 horses in this spot, now you've really got to narrow it down to 2. And we could have maybe narrowed down another race, but we settled on this one. And again, another 2-year-old maiden special weight on the turf. The big thing here, we really were confident in 2 horses. The 2 gassed me up. a horse that was second on debut. We went back and watched these replays, and we just thought that horse ran better than that second place effort. I think that horse is going to move forward. We were confident in the 2. And, obviously the horse won, but I'll talk about the other one. We really liked the 10 Single Track Mine. Horse was making the debut in the United States, was with Glatt, a trainer we use a lot. We really like Glatt. And it was just like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's take those 2 horses. We weren't huge fans of the 1 Game Time, and we thought the horse would get bet, and the horse did. So we left that one off. Probably would have had that horse on, though, if we would have singled in another leg. The 11 drew into the race for Diamano. I texted you and I said, hey, the 11 drew in. Do you want to try to rework it? And we kind of watched the replay of 11 real quick, and it's like, I think the 2 might be better than this 11. Let's just roll with the 210, and let's see what happens here. And it worked out great. The 2 kind of stalked the pace, kind of sat third or fourth. It just dominated the race, won by multiple lengths, galloped home. It was really never a sweat. It looked like Gas Me Up was going to win the whole stretch. Our 10 horse kind of made a middle move or a move around the turn and just kind of flattened. But yeah, just didn't have much left at the end. But thank God the 2 was right. Like I said, replay watching is kind of where we got to this one. A lot of times these 2-year-olds, I love speed figures, time form speed figures, but a lot of times it's tough to gauge these 2-year-olds in those first races, and it's tough to gauge how they're going to step forward. The 11 had a better time form than the 2, but we just kind of analyzed it and thought the 2 might step up and run a little better. And thank God the 2 did step up and run a little better. A $12.40 payoff there. And like you said, a $96 ticket ends up paying $5,376.50. Now, again, there's 3 things that have to happen for you to hit these bets. Your handicapping has to be solid. Your structure has to be solid. And then you have to have a little bit of luck, always. And this was a situation where the handicapping was solid, step 1. But the key to this one really was the structure and making those tough decisions. When you don't have a single, the structure becomes very, very important, because you really got to narrow down those races, like I've been saying, and you got to be right, let's just fast forward or not fast forward, but go ahead and look at the late sequence. I don't have the ticket up with me, but just thinking about it, we had a single in the late. By the way, we missed this late sequence. We had a single right there, Cave Rock. So that's kind of the difference, right? You're playing the late pick 5. We both agree that's the single in the sequence. Then you can be a little bit more egregious with who you use in your other races, because you've got the budget now to play around. So your handicapping, quite honestly, if you get the single right in the other races, doesn't have to be quite as sharp, and neither does your sequencing or your ticket structure, because you can use more horses in other races. But in the case like the early pick 5 at Del Mar, where we hit it, you had to be pretty sharp with your handicapping and your structuring. If you weren't, you weren't going to hit it. You could have been, 4 out of 5 and said, man, I felt like I was all over that, but I just messed up the structure. So this one, it's funny. This took us a while to get through and to put it together, because we just didn't have the strong opinion. Where the late pick 5, it didn't take us very long, because it's Cave Rock, and it's just like, okay, there's Cave Rock, you build around it. With this sequence, I will say right here, the 7th race, Creative Peak, nowhere, didn't have the horse, didn't think about it. But it was still okay, because in the 8th race, we had the winner there that paid $33.20. The 9th race, we had Pax and Wallop, who paid $18. The 10th race, obviously the single does come home. And then in race 11, we did not have the 4 on the ticket. So we were alive to a pick 4 that was very good. I think like in between $600 and $1,200. We had 4 horses, and just listen. That the first step, like I said, is handicapping. We didn't have it right. We didn't handicap it right. We didn't have the 4 anywhere. No matter what structure, we were not going to hit the late pick 4, or the late pick 5, because we didn't handicap it good enough. And that's really when you analyze and you go back at that, you've got to be honest with yourself. And that's kind of how it was. Let's pretend up here on this first leg, the 4 wins. Well, we didn't handicap it. We would have lost it, and there's nothing we could have done about it because we just didn't handicap it very well. But anyway, I'm carrying on, but you kind of get the picture, and that's kind of what I want. That's my goal for these videos going forward. Obviously, it's fun to come on here and talk about a cash that was a record cash for us since we took it over. That was amazing. We had a great Sunday. We really celebrated that one well, and a lot of fun. But I kind of want this to be more than just, hey, coming on and bragging about a ticket. If we have a crushing loss, and that's the ticket that stands out to us of the weekend, I'm going to come in here and talk about that as well, because I really want these videos to do 2 things: show you how we made the tickets and how the product works and why we believe in it. And number 2, I really kind of want these to be educational in the sense of, say you're a guy and or a gal and you played this ticket and it's like, oh, I went 4 or 5 and I didn't structure something right, or I don't know why I didn't use that horse, but to kind of make you yourself go back, whether you bought the product or not, go back and look and kind of learn from these sequences and learn from, wow, I just missed the score and here's why, maybe, and go on for that. So anyway, really, I love doing these videos. I really think they can help. And, again, we go back and we do this by ourselves in our heads, and it's like, why not put this on a video? I think people would maybe enjoy it. So again, it was huge. Listen, I was shocked that it paid 5,300. We got a 1280 winner in leg 1. The favorite holding the loot 580. That's 9-5 basically in race 2. Malibu Coast here was almost pretty much 8-1. Again, I was surprised the horse went off at 8-1. You get Double Fancy here. That's a 7-2 winner, basically. I'm sorry, a 5-2 winner, basically. And then rounds it off here with basically a 5-1 winner. So no double-digit prices as far as odds go. I mean, none over 8-1. 8-1 was the highest shot. But it kind of shows you the value of defeating favorites, right? And that's what happened. The favorites did not come in. Holding the Loot was. The rest of these were not. You didn't have to get like overcomplicated and try to take crazy shots. It was there for the taking. You got to string together sometimes these middle price horses, and a pick 4 and a pick 5, it's really going to balloon it. So congratulations everybody that played it. I've got a few emails saying you guys had it. That's great. I love it. If you didn't play it, hopefully still though, these videos kind of help you see, okay, this is how they did it. And again, they're not just going to be wins. When there's a ticket that stands out, that's a miss, I'm going to do that as well for these recaps and kind of projecting on, hey, this is what we did. This is why we missed it or hit it. This is what maybe we could do differently. So anyway, hopefully this helps, guys. And hopefully you kind of like the new structure of just focusing in on one and really kind of going over kind of the mechanics, I guess, the best way of kind of how we came up with what we came up with. So guys, I really appreciate it as always. Any video you guys watch, we super appreciate it. Ton of fun on Sunday. This was a great time. Great way to end Del Mar. And yeah, listen, this week it heats right back up. Belmont at Aqueduct, which will be weird to kind of get used to, but I don't know if we call it Belmont or Aqueduct or what, but it's back. Churchill Downs is back. Excited for that. And we'll stick to Gulfstream. I actually had a Gulfstream ticket ready until we hit this because we had a heartbreaker on Sunday at Gulfstream and I was going to go over. I'm glad we hit this because I did not really want to do that one, but if we had to, that's what we were going to do. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for watching this video. The Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks are back. Hopefully these videos help in one way or another. And that's what the website is about. Whether we win or we lose, try to help for the next time out and the next time we put together tickets or do whatever. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. Hit like if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you really like it. You don't want to miss any of these Rocket episodes or anything we do. You'll get alerted if you subscribe. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.